everybody. Matt Delacruz here with the Winning Minds Group, part of the John Maxwell team, and welcome to Mondays with Matt. Happy Monday to you. Hope you had a fantastic week and looking forward to another extraordinary week this week as we kick off a new month, a new week, a new day. That's right, July 1st. And we also get to celebrate the 4th of July, Independence Day, with our friends and family. But before I even talk about that, because there's a lot to talk about that, but I want to talk about today, Monday, July 1st. At noon, we will have gone through the first half of the year. That's right. We're over the hump. 182.5 days are gone. That means we have 182.5 games or days left of the year. And this is where you need to take some time to reflect if you haven't already. And the time to reflect is to see what's working in your life, what's not working in your life, what's good, what's not good. What are some of the things that we need to make a difference in the second half of the year? Because what's exciting about that, the second half of the year could be better than the first half of the year. And for some people, the second half of the year could be better than the last 2 years of your life if you live a life of intentionality and you're aware of what you need to do. So I want you to think about this, and you got to ask yourself the questions. How were you thinking the first part of the year? How were you feeling the first half? What were you seeing? Did you see the good in everything and everyone? What were your actions? What were you doing that led you to where you are today? Because in summation, it's really what it is. It's not what we know, it's what we do. And everything that we did compounded 182.5 days got us to where we are today. Personally, professionally, regardless if it's good or bad, win or loss, success or failure, it really is based on what we did. And what we did is because of the decisions that we made. So the second half of the year, you need to because if you change the way you think, change the way you feel, change what you see, your perception, and you change what you do the second half of the year compounded, I guarantee it could be a better second half of the year. So keep that in mind as we bring in this new day, this new week, and this new month, because every day counts in the game of life, especially if you're playing to win and you refuse to lose. But what's exciting about that, too, is this week is, of course, the celebration of Independence Day. That's right, the 4th of July, where here in America, we get to celebrate our freedoms. And the freedoms didn't come easy, obviously. And this is where I love to take the time just to reflect, to be thankful, and really develop and meditate on the attitude of gratitude. I think that's so important today. But I was sitting here thinking about it today. If you think about the Pledge of Allegiance, which unfortunately you can't say it in public schools and private schools, the church and the school that my kids go to, obviously they get to say the Pledge of Allegiance, which is exciting. And if you ever thought about the Pledge of Allegiance is so powerful. It starts with I and ends with all. But there's one thing that's in that Pledge of Allegiance that most people get away from. And that was a quote. I remember when President Ronald Reagan said, he goes, if we ever forget that we are one nation under God, then we will be a nation gone under. Think about that. In the Pledge of Allegiance, starts with I, ends with all, but in that Pledge of Allegiance, it says one nation under God. See, I believe that when you have your faith and you have that rock to hold on to, this is what carries us through the valleys. So when we go from the peaks to the valleys, the majority of the learning is when we're in those valleys. That's the learning experience. This is where we get to push through our breakthrough. So this week, this month is so critical as we start a second half of the year. So I want you to think about, how are you going to think the second half of the year? How are you going to feel? What's your perception going to be like? What are you going to see? Are you going to be able to see the good in everything and everyone? Practice that. And then what are the good positive actions that every action you take must take you closer to your goal or your main objective in life? So let's think about that this week as we live with the freedoms and the blessings that we have because of other people who fought for our freedoms to this day that we are all grateful for. One nation under God. So until next week, live with passion, live intentionally, and let's just make sure that the second half of the year will be better than the first half of the year. Thanks so much. Make it a great day, and we'll talk to you next week. Whatever it takes.